Welcome to MogulCast, where we uncover the stories behind the world's greatest business empires. Let's get into today's story.
May 31st, 1985. Steve Jobs, the 29-year-old co-founder of Apple, walks into a boardroom expecting to lead the company into its next era. Instead, he's fired. The man who built a $2 billion empire in less than a decade is now unemployed. His reaction? I was a public failure. This is the full story. And it is worse than you think. Steve Jobs was adopted, dropped out of college after one semester, and spent months in India searching for spiritual enlightenment. In 1976, at just 21 years old, he and Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer in his parents' garage. It wasn't just a product, it was a revolution. But no one, not even Jobs, knew how far it would go. By 1980, Apple had gone public, making Jobs a millionaire overnight. The Macintosh, launched in 1984, was a masterpiece, complete with a graphical interface and mouse. But Jobs' management style was already raising eyebrows. He demanded perfection, often berating employees in front of their peers. We will come back to one specific decision. It is the key to everything. Apple's stock soared, and by 1983, Jobs was named chairman. The company was on top of the world. But inside, tensions were brewing. Jobs' relentless pursuit of innovation clashed with the board's desire for stability. His solution? Bring in a seasoned CEO, John Sculley, with a simple pitch. Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? Or do you want it to change the world? The Macintosh launch in 1984 was a cultural phenomenon. Apple's 1984 Super Bowl ad, directed by Ridley Scott, is still considered one of the greatest commercials of all time. Sales exploded, but not everyone was celebrating. Jobs' abrasive leadership was alienating key executives, and the board was losing patience. Jobs' strategy was simple: control every detail. From the design of the circuit boards to the packaging, he obsessed over perfection. But here is what the media completely got wrong about this. Jobs didn't just want to build great products, he wanted to control the entire user experience. That meant locking down hardware, software, and even retail. It was a gamble that would later save Apple. By 1985, Jobs' management style had become unbearable. Employees described him as a tyrant who would publicly humiliate them for minor mistakes. One executive recalled, he would reduce grown men to tears. The board had enough. They sided with Sculley, stripping Jobs of his operational duties. The man who built Apple was now powerless within his own company. Jobs didn't go quietly. He tried to stage a coup, rallying employees to oust Sculley. It failed. On May 31st, 1985, the board officially removed him from all managerial duties. Jobs, humiliated, sold most of his Apple stock and resigned. The company he co-founded was now moving forward without him. But this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something even bigger. After leaving Apple, Jobs founded Next, a computer company aimed at the education market. It flopped commercially but pioneered technologies that would later save Apple. Meanwhile, Apple struggled without him. By the mid-1990s, the company was on the brink of bankruptcy. The board had no choice but to bring Jobs back. And if you've made it this far, you already understand something most analysts completely missed. Jobs returned to Apple in 1997 as an advisor, then took over as interim CEO. His first move? Killing 70% of Apple's products to focus on just 4. The iMac, launched in 1998, was a hit. But the real game changer was still to come. Jobs had learned from his mistakes. He was still a perfectionist, but now he knew how to lead without destroying his team. The iPod, iPhone, and iPad didn't just save Apple. They redefined entire industries. By 2011, Apple was the most valuable company in the world, worth over $300 billion. Jobs' vision had transformed technology, music, and communication. but his health was failing. In 2004, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He fought it for years, but on October 5, 2011, he passed away. Remember that decision we mentioned at the start? Jobs firing in 1985 wasn't just a personal setback. It was a turning point. It forced him to grow, to learn humility, and to return to Apple stronger than ever. Without that failure, there would be no iPhone, no App Store, no $3 trillion empire. Jobs' greatest lesson? Sometimes, the worst moments lead to the greatest comebacks. Today, Apple is worth over $3 trillion, the most valuable company in history. Jobs' products have sold over 2 billion units worldwide. But his legacy isn't just in the numbers, it's in the culture. He proved that innovation isn't about compromise. It's about obsession. It's about demanding the impossible. And sometimes, it's about being a tyrant. By the numbers, $3 trillion, Apple's current market cap. Title, 2 billion units of Jobs' products sold. 1985, the year he was fired from Apple. 1997, the year he returned. 2011, the year he passed away. 35 years, the span of his career. 1. His rank as the most influential tech leader in history. Lesson: Jobs' story isn't just about genius, it's about resilience. He was fired, humiliated, and nearly destroyed his own company. But he came back stronger. The biggest mistake you can make in business? Thinking failure is permanent. Jobs proved it's just the first act. If you want to understand how this pattern repeats across every major business empire, the next video covers a story with disturbing parallels. That one is next.
That's the story for today on MogulCast. If you found this valuable, subscribe and hit the bell. A new empire story drops every single weekday. See you tomorrow.